So I've been looking for some land online, partially for some clients, and obviously always on the lookout for something that might work for myself, and maybe looking for something that might be suitable for a mix of tenure. So it could be private with a mix of social, affordable, cost rental, that type of stuff, even with a bit of commercial thrown in. So I'm just looking at this site in Port Arlington in County Leish. So this is the land here on Daft. Price on application, 5 acres, immediately available, blah, 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 blah. I said the first thing that I do when I see something like this is I'll check the zoning. Usefully enough, it tells you in the description that it's zone town centre. Like I said, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of local policy at this stage. I suppose what you need to know is if it's zoned town centre, generally it should have potential for mixed uses. So that could be commercial, i.e. offices, retail, and it should be suitable for an element of residential as well. Like I said, if you can do a mix of tenure as well, that obviously broadens your opportunities. But yeah, so at a very high level, I mean, without looking into housing requirements and all that jazz, it's ticking the right boxes. Then I started looking at it from maybe from a practicality point of view, like, you know, what's the access like? Can I build it? Can I get construction traffic it in? Are there any obvious showstoppers, maybe from an ecology point of view? Am I potentially going to face any constraints from a planning point of view with overlooking distances, impacting on character, all that type of stuff? But like I said, we're trying to keep it at a high level for the time being. Just looking at this site, we said it's big enough. I think it's 5 acres. Distances from adjacent properties seems decent enough. But what I immediately noticed was the fact that, and I'll go back here now on this show, the access to the site. If you were to run around the perimeter of the site, there's no obvious form of access. Now I've flicked through the photos of the site, and it says that this is the access, which is actually on the main road, main street in the town. So as we go on Google Street View, you'll notice the access here. Now, I could be wrong. I often am, but if I was going to develop something there in accordance with the local density, you're going to be talking, I don't know, could be talking up to 50 units potentially, with a mix of commercial, apartments, heavy footfall cars. You know, I would suggest the local highways department wouldn't be too keen about people exiting onto this one-way street. And then I would check to see if these are listed buildings. Not sure if everyone is aware of this, but it's not just the listed building that is protected. It is actually the buildings adjacent. They look like they'd have some merit architecturally. Potentially could be protected structures, but obviously I have to check the database for that. But yeah, at high level, that would be an initial concern. What else I noticed, and you wouldn't have to be the most eagle-eyed to notice this sign. So this was on the market. Maybe that's a local agent. Sealed bids, 3rd of May 2023. Now, this only came on the market recently, or it might have been on a dim website, I don't know. But this has only appeared on here, ended renewed 17th of 11th, I don't know. But effectively, that's gone through a tender process, and it hasn't sold. So alarm bells would be ringing on that front as well. So yeah, access not great. Even if the planning authority, the local highways department, should I say, are satisfied long term, the access could be suitable. As a builder, I wouldn't want to be bringing vehicles up and down here. I'm sure the locals wouldn't be too happy about it, which likely see you in appeal or the High Court. So yeah, a few red flags. So the next thing that I would check would be the folio on Land Direct. Now I've checked it here. You can see it. It's split into 3 sections. The one is a leasehold. Now I'm no expert solicitor, but I'd want to get that checked out, just see what the terms were of that. As again, there's a potential red flag there. Everything else seems fairly consistent, the boundaries and whatnot. So I'd want to check that lease out and see what the terms were relating to that. The next item, again, very high level, just looking at the local flood maps, you can see just this cloud of blue. Now I think that's a 1 in 1,000 year risk. Could be something and nothing. But you could be into potential issues from an insurance point of view and also with the planning. So just something to be mindful of. Make sure you're checking these maps. Make sure consult with a good local expert who has obviously local knowledge. Another useful tool for people to use is historical maps. So I'll put a link in the description below for people, but it says free resource. You would identify your land similar to you would do on the land registry website, and it'll take you right back. All the historic maps, you can have a look at historical uses. Now, where this is really useful is if you're trying to identify potential issues from an archaeological point of view, potential contamination in the ground, and like I said, it's free and it takes 2 minutes. So I'll just show you the type of information that you get. Usually to have that snapshot in time, usually over the last few hundred years. Sometimes it goes longer. As I said, if you need to include costs for an archaeological dig or for contaminated ground or potential obstructions there, you can do that now before you go and bid on the land, whether that be privately or through an auction. Finally, always do a check on the planning history. Now, as you can see, there was a previous application, I think, I want to say, so 24 2-bedroom apartments. Now, I haven't been right through the files because by the time I got to this, there were too many flags for me to start getting involved and doing proper assessments. But yeah, there was an approval back in 2002. This went to appeal where it was refused. And obviously the units were never built. It wasn't refused on the back of any grounds related to access. There was 2 considerations. So one was relating to the local character, and the other one was that it was in the vicinity of a protected structure, the bank house, which actually I've just done a quick check, and that's 50 yards down the road. So it seems quite harsh, but again, the site has been tainted. So again, we're what, 20 years on, policy has changed, the need for local housing has changed. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that, and especially the fact that there was an initial approval is a positive, but you'd have to read the recent policy and try and design something in accordance with that. Again, as with a lot of these plots outside of Dublin, your main concern is going to be getting this stuff to stack up. Now, people think if you go and build houses or apartments anywhere, you're going to make a fortune, and that's just not the case. At the moment, if you're a developer building out, by the time you've added in all of your consultants fees, your planning fees, you've paid any local contributions, you've put your infrastructure in, and then you actually get to build your houses, you're lucky if you can do this for less than 250 quid a square foot. You're lucky. And the reality is sales values outside of Dublin rarely exceed 300 quid a square foot. I know there's pockets where they do go higher, but as a general rule, I don't see much outside of Dublin that exceeds that 300 quid a square foot. So you're into joint ventures with landowners, teaming up with housing associations. You have to get really creative with how you can make these sites work. And even then, it's a real stretch to obtain any sort of decent financing and get these deals over the line. So yeah, that's a snapshot of what I do at a high level. This enables me to go through 2-3 sites in a few hours, and like I said, I'll keep putting these up, and hopefully you guys find them useful.